In this section I will explain how to create a sequence. So a sequence consists of several scenes, up to 10 scenes. To create it, just go to the edit mode, click the plus icon and then select sequences. First of all, we also need to enter a name like sequence 1. Then we can select an in-fade time. We can decide how often the sequence will repeat itself. So the default value is loop, and I think for most of the sequences you will use it, but you can also say once or a custom amount of numbers. But let's continue here with loop. We can decide the trigger type, if it's set or flash, so it's the same logic as it is in scenes. And now we can select which scenes should be contained in that sequence. So therefore we can click here, the button on the right, then we can select already created scenes. We will do this now. So here we can select scene 1 as our first scene of the sequence. Then we are asked if we want to use this scene as a linked scene or if we want to copy that scene. So if we select link scene and we will change the original scene, then the scene in the sequence will also be changed. If we select copy scene, then we can change the initial scene to something different, but the sequence will not be affected by this change. So in our case, let's select link scene. So now you can see our sequence has our first scene. If we want to change, for example, the state time, this means how long the scene will be played until the next scene will be played. We can click here on the scene and then we can see some information about the scene. Since we selected linked scene, we cannot change here the content of the scene, but what we can change is, for example, the state time. So if we want to have a longer state time, we can set it to, for example, 2 seconds and we can save that. In the next step, we will add a second scene. So let's add the green scene. Therefore, we click again on the plus icon, we select the green scene. And in this case, let's use copy scene. So if we click now here on the scene, we can change all of the settings of the scene because we just copied it and it is not linked to the original scene. But there's also a second way to create a scene for a sequence. I will show it to you now. So we can kind of create the scene live while we are in the sequence creation. Therefore, we can go to the control page, we can reset everything. In our case, just use blue. Now we go back to the scenes page, and if we click here on that icon, that means that we do not select from already created scenes, but what currently is in the control page will become the scene. Therefore, we click on it, and now you can see that the content of the scene is the blue. We need to give a name to the scene, let's say scene 3. So we can also adjust here all of the settings. Let's save it. So now we can see that the sequence contains our 3 scenes and we are happy with that. So we will click the save icon. We will go back to the normal mode. And if we click now on the sequence, we can see that for 2 seconds the first scene will be played, then the second, and then the third scene. And the sequence will loop endlessly. So that's all I can teach you about the scene page. So you know how to create a folder, a scene, a sequence, and you know the differences between saving a scene locally or in the network. So thank you very much, and we will see each other in the next video.